up, Bars Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Dropping Bars podcast. I am your host, Kimron Corion, and today I am bringing back a guest from the previous season of Dropping Bars. Today I have with me the very first guest we've had on the podcast, Miss Charlene Asher. Charlene, welcome back to Dropping Bars.
Oh, thank you so much, Kimron, for having me. It's a pleasure to be back again.
And you know, when I first decided I wanted to do this podcast and I reached out to Charlene, Charlene is like, you know what? Fine, I'll come on. I'll be your best guest. I'll be your very first guest. I am cheering you on. Let's go. And she's back again. So thank you so much for always supporting me and supporting the pod. I really appreciate you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You've done such a good job, and welcome back, I should say. And I'm glad that as you transition to the next season, that I'm your first guest again. I guess it's just kind of fitting.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So let's jump right in. I mean, the last time we spoke a little bit about you, your journey, and for the people who may have missed the first episode, can you give us just a summary of who Charlene Asher is?
CharlYN Asher is a female CEO here in Toronto. I am the president and CEO of Cold Paper and Anti-Fulfillment division of Asher Industries, Inc. I'm also the first Black female CEO in the corrugated industry and the first Black female CEO with a fulfillment warehouse, fulfillment center in Canada.
Wow, that's amazing. First of all, congratulations. You're a boss lady, bossing it up. All right. So that's great. And I want to jump off that because I want to talk about business today. The last time, we spoke about your journey and how you got into, running your own business. But now I want to sort of talk about the journey of running your own business. So first of all, you're the CEO of Cold Paper and Antoine Fulfillment. Now,
Yes.
how difficult or easy is it to run two companies at the same time?
It's difficult. I mean, being a CEO or, owning two businesses is not easy. I'm not going to say it's an easy task. It's difficult. I purchased Cold Paper back in 2017, and the same year I started Antoine Fulfillment. The reason why I started Antoine Fulfillment is because Cold Paper, we were having a lot of overhead space that was not being used, and I figure, Antoine Fulfillment, because logistics is my background, would have been perfect integration to have the both companies because they kind of feed off each other, and the fulfillment business will grow the box business. So it's definitely difficult. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would own a business and be a CEO. But it's something that's it's very challenging, but it's very rewarding at the same time.
That's amazing. So you pretty much started Antoine Fulfillment based on, I guess, an opportunity that occurred because of the work you're doing in Cold Paper. So that's great. So talk to me about then, starting a business. What are some of the considerations, the things that you have to think about or consider before you start a business or before you even buy a business? Because I know you bought one and you started one from scratch. So like, talk to me about both sides, buying and then starting your own.
Okay, so first I'll start with just buying. First thing I think you need to do is to have financing, whether it be DBC, banks, startups, whatever way you need to have the money or raise the money. You first need to have the money to buy the business. Once you have the money, then you can figure out what you like to do or what do you think makes sense. For me, when I was buying Cold Paper, I wanted a business that would be recession proof, that would be pandemic proof, and Cold Paper turned out to be that during the pandemic. That it's something that it's a service that was always going to be needed. So boxes and shipping supplies, everybody need that. So it was easy for me to find something that no matter what, like a food industry, things that people always going to need. Um, and once you figure out what you like to do, a passion, two, something that you think that's going to be profitable, that's going to make money, you need to find yourself a good lawyer, a good accountant, and then you can start looking for a business. You could probably get a real estate agent, commercial real estate agent, but it's not necessary because a lot of businesses are being posted, listed every day for sale. You can just reach out to the listing agent for those businesses, and you can take the transaction from there. In terms of starting a business, you will need a company like name. You'll need to register your business. If you already have a business, and Antoine Fulfillment was a secondary branch of Asher Industries because we already had cold paper, then you'll have to get an operating name from the government to operate that business legally. And then you have to start, like, again, it'll be something that you're passionate about. So if you do run into hard times, you wouldn't quit, you'll keep going. It wouldn't be like, oh, I tried, didn't work. It'll be kind of like a passion project for you, something that you really like to do. um, Websites, marketing, start looking for customers, just getting what out there that, you're doing this. It could be telling, you know, customers from your other company that this is what I'm doing. Are you interested? And just kind of selling the service that you are going to be doing, like that new business. It's not going to be busy in the beginning. It took us at least 2 or 3 years before Antoine Fulfillment became like a household name, like people know who we are. We're now serving international clients, but you really have to persevere and hang in there because some days it really gets tough and you will question yourself as to why am I doing this? You want to quit, but you just have to keep going.
And so for somebody who maybe doesn't have the finances available or the ability to maybe get the funding upfront from a bank or something, and they may think, okay, well, I'm not gonna buy a business. Maybe I will start a business, but I will bootstrap that business and just kind of grow it little by little, bit by bit. Now, in terms of, well, like I said, if you don't have the money, you cannot buy the business. But
Yeah.
is it difficult or is it hard to start a business with limited um financing or funding upfront? Let's say you don't really have a lot of money, or you don't have access to a lot of money, but you want to get into entrepreneurship. How difficult is it to start a business without a lot of money or without any money?
You know what? In today's day and age with the whole e-commerce, I'm telling you, honestly, I just started a shower steamer business and it was $1,000 I started with. And so because of online and everybody buying stuff online, you could start a business with $200, $300, up to $1,000. You can genuinely start a business. You do it from home. There's platforms like Shopify, Etsy, Amazon. When you're starting off, I would say stay away from Amazon. It's more for big established companies. Smaller companies, if you're going to run it from home, I would suggest you do Etsy's, or even you can open a Shopify store. You look at places for supplies like Alibaba is a good source to source products. They have thousands and thousands of items. So you look for a supplier there, get some relationship with them, and you're able to ship the stuff to you. Again, Etsy is very user friendly, dummy proof. Anybody can set up a store. You take some pictures of your product, you post it on there. Um, Within 2 or 3 weeks, you can get ads. You're eligible to get ads on Etsy after 3 weeks of your product being online, and you go from there. Again, it's going to be slow start, but eventually people are going to start buying. So it could be anything, water bottle, whatever. There's a market for everything. So maybe you cannot have a brick and mortar store like I do, but you can definitely start something from home.
Okay, so you said that you started a shower steamer business, and you said
Yeah.
you started with $1,000. Walk me
Yeah.
through the breakdown of that $1,000. Like, how did you
Okay.
break it down?
So the breakdown for the $1,000, right now it's product. So product and development, so R&D. You wanna, like, when you're gonna launch a new product or a new business, especially a product, you wanna test it out and make sure that the product have it's good quality products. You're not just slapping your name on anything just to make a quick buck. buck. If you are going to do that, eventually, it's not going to, so it's not going to sustain. It's not going to last. People are going to realize this is cheap. Nobody, after one buy, nobody's probably, you're not going to have repeat buyers. So it's important that you test this stuff out. You do your research, you do your development. So it was samples for testing. And the good thing about a place like Alibaba and stuff, some of the sellers, they help you with the design of your labels, design of packaging, so you don't really have to worry about that. So again, once you place an order with them, so the order for $1,000, that is with delivery to Canada, was, like I said, $1,000. It was 550 bags of shower steamers. So very
Okay.
small, very, very
Right.
small. And as you pick up and you sell, then you're able to scale up.
Right. So that $1,000 was to do research, product development,
Testing.
get your first order in. You made the order through Alibaba because of you would have built relationships and got your first shipment in, and all that for $1,000. So
$1,000, yeah.
wow, dope,
And
amazing.
if everything goes as planned, and if I was to sell all 550 bags, my net profit would be $7,000.
Okay, so from the $1,000, your
Yep,
net profit will be
yep,
7,000.
1,000. Yeah, this is my net profit. Yeah,
Okay,
7,000.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
So it's quite
wow,
easy. It's really, Kimmer, I think people think starting a business, it's rocket scientist. I can't do it. You can do it. Little money, lots of effort, be passionate about it and try it. You don't know until, if you don't try it, you wouldn't know. It's easier than people make it look.
right. Okay, so we know that it's not as difficult to start as people might think it might
Yeah.
be. However, there are challenges along the way that one would have to consider. Was there any, and I'm moving away from, like cold paper for now, but as it relates to like Antoine Fulfillment, when you were starting Antoine Fulfillment, and even this new shower steamer business, what are some of the hurdles, if any, that you had to overcome? Because I read something on Facebook either yesterday or during this last week, and somebody made a post saying, sometimes we glamorize entrepreneurship, and sometimes we don't talk about the hardship that we go through in entrepreneurship. And so they were saying, okay, well, I believe that sometimes we need to talk about the difficulties that we face, so that at least people who are thinking about it would know, okay, yes, there's a lot of, it's not as difficult in terms of, you don't need like $1 million or $100,000 to start. You can start with $1,000. However, um, are there any hurdles that you would have had to jump over in order to sort of get to where you are, get to this place where you are?
Oh, of course. Anything hard, if you do, anything that's worthwhile, it's hard. So in terms of Antoine fulfillment, when we were starting out, we had a warehouse, but we didn't have no product to fill the warehouse. People would
Mhm.
come in and you will say like you're doing warehousing and you probably have like, 20, 30 skids, right? So you have space, but you don't have customers. So I think starting out, the biggest challenge is, trying to find customers and getting a name for yourself, putting yourself out there, and that's where the marketing comes in. Even finding a space, if you have to, like, if you want a brick and mortar store, you have to find like a warehouse space to rent. Rent in Toronto is really expensive, right? Per
Yeah.
square footage, it's really expensive. So these are challenges you have to find. Those are challenges that you are going to come across as you start like a business like that, a brick and mortar store where you have a physical location. um you know I would say starting off was the biggest thing is just finding customers. uh
Finding customers.
yeah, finding customers is really tough, and just making a name in the industry. So we had to do like a lot of marketing. We had to pay to be on somebody else's website. So when people search warehousing in Canada, like Antoine Fulfillment would show up. For the shower steamers, I would say, trying to find a good supplier, like to, get the product. Not only that, even if you get a good supplier, like, they're in China, we're in different time zone, the communication too can be a little bit difficult. And sometimes you pay for your samples and everything, and it's not, you get the samples and it's not what not what you were looking for. It's not, it doesn't meet your standards, quality is not there, so then you have to start back from scratch again, trying to find a new supplier. And then sometimes you find them and maybe they don't even really want to work with you based on your quantity that you're looking for, because most of these suppliers, they have minimum order quantity. So you might want to buy, let's say, 500, and they were like, no, the minimum order is 3,000,
Right.
right? So these are some of the challenges you'll find starting an e-commerce business. But then once you started, you have to worry about, when you start an Etsy store or a Shopify store, nobody's ever used your product, so you have no review, right? So you
Right.
really have to start from scratch and, trust the process, I would say. Eventually it will happen. Trust the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the mindset that one needs to have when getting into entrepreneurship and business? From a mindset standpoint, I know we want that, but is there a specific mindset, do you think, that one needs to have to really like go full speed ahead into entrepreneurship?
Oh yeah, for sure. You have to be so determined, you have to be focused, you have to be dedicated. It has to be, you have to eat, sleep, drink, whatever you're gonna do. It's not gonna be something it's easy, Like I said, if anything it's easy, it's just everybody's gonna do it. And as you can see, not everybody does it. Sometimes it's easier for you to just go work for somebody to get a job, right? So I feel as if you have to be really disciplined, very committed, and it's something that you really have to want. You really have to want it, because the moment things get tough, you're just gonna quit.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the important things that we don't talk about a lot, because that mindset piece, and not just in like business and entrepreneurship, but just in life. Like you need to
Yeah.
develop and cultivate that mindset, a special mindset. Even if you're working for a company, I mean that sort of growth mindset, that mindset of constant development and just yeah, being positive and so is crucial. Okay, great. So now that we've spoken about the business side, or what are some of the challenges, and so
Mhm.
um what next, for you? Are you gonna start any other businesses? Like what next on the journey for Charlie from an entrepreneurship standpoint?
Um, Probably just, keep growing. And just to be successful. Success, it's measured differently by everybody, and it could just be the smallest thing. For me, it's adding new brands to CharlYN Asher brand, so new products, just kind of thinking outside the box. You can't put, like they say, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You can't have income from one source. Income has to come from multiple sources if you're going to be successful. So it's just growing, see what market is there for what, and just try to tap into these markets.
Yeah, that's interesting. Are you ever gonna? I mean, you're Grenadian. I'm Grenadian. Your business is out here in Canada. Are you gonna ever consider launching a new business back home in Grenada?
Um, Probably not. I am, anybody knows me, I'm a perfectionist and I'm a control freak. And if I can't be there to run my business, more than likely not. And
Okay.
it's just a personal trait that I like to be in control of everything that I do, and I like to be able to see what's happening.
Hmm.
Grenada is a little bit ways away, and it's not something I can really do and run a business efficiently there while I'm here. Um,
Okay.
but I'm Grenadian, and I love the Grenadian community. You remember I was just there last month doing the school supply.
The school supply. Yeah, and let's talk about that, because this is not the first time that you've been doing that. Like you've done multiple school supply toy drive, and so what drives you to like always like every year go back to Grenada and do a drive, whether it's a school supply drive, toy drive, whatever it is? What drives you to do that every year?
I don't know. Some people know my story. I grew up extremely poor in extreme poverty, and not a lot of us get out of, we come to North America, we come to the big world, and not a lot of us get the opportunity that I was given. And I think I am blessed. God's blessed me and given me so much. Like, I didn't even think I would, this life. Some days I wake up, I think I'm dreaming. This is not my life, that I would wake up and it'll be all gone. But reality is, this is my life. And so when I think back about the people back home, the kids, especially the kids, when it comes to kids, I'm very passionate about them. And, they are our future. They truly are. So I feel as if it's my duty, as someone who's blessed, as someone who has a business, to give back to a community and to help out. So I try to do as much as I can. I know there is so much more that needs to be done, but I truly believe that the little that I'm doing, it's making a difference. So we just did 5 schools in Grenada, mostly in in the parish of St. David's, and we donated thousands and thousands of dollars worth of items. And I'm going to tell you, by far, it's probably one of the best experiences of my life. It feels, when we did the toy drive, I wasn't able to go because of the pandemic, but this time it feels so good to see the kids and they run up to you and they hug you, and everybody's so grateful and thankful for everything that you do for them. And I don't it's a lot of work, but I don't regret doing any of this stuff. I'm just so happy that God has chosen me to be able to do stuff for, the kids and the people and the schools, and whatever anybody needs. Once I can help out, I'm there. So I'm very passionate about the humanitarian, the giving work part of my life. It's, as much as I make money, I want to make sure I give back. Giving back is very, very important to me.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that I know about you. I know you love to give back. You love to, you will reach out to all your partners, suppliers, even some of your clients, and say, "Hey, I'm going to Grenada. I need to do this, and I need you guys to jump on board with me, and you'll make it happen." So, well, kudos to you, and
Yeah.
on behalf of all Grenadians, we say thank you
Oh
for
gosh, yeah.
for the great work that you're doing. Right, so that's really
And Kimron, I couldn't do it alone. You're right. Like, all the people, I am so blessed and so grateful that I'm in this position, that I have this name, that I can change so much people's life. You don't even understand. I don't take it for granted. I don't take it lightly. My position that I'm in right now, where I'm able to make a couple phone calls, and people, when we were doing the school supply drive, it was supposed to be a little thing. We're probably going to bring it to a preschool, like couple things. And within no time, we had 2 pallets of stuff, and we had so much stuff for like 5 schools. Imagine, every student in St. David's Catholic Secondary School was given a geometry set and a pencil case filled with supplies, pens, pencils, erasers, sharpeners. Imagine donating over 530 sets of geometry sets, or with pencil cases. It was unreal, like the way people just back me and support me and show up for me. So
nice.
I couldn't have done it. I can't do it alone. And there's a whole bunch of people, selfless, nameless people, who support me over the years, so I can able to do this, to, and give back to Grenada. So I'm grateful for those people too.
And I think one of the things that has made you successful. I know I could be wrong, but just from knowing you from what you said in terms of how you're able to grow cold paper and fund fulfillment, what you've been doing with the shower steamer business, what you've been doing with your drive, whether it's the toy drive, the school supply drive, you're able to like reach out to people, get people together, and just do things. To me, it seems like though as though one of the things that's driving your success is your ability to build relationships with people. So
Yeah.
tell me, so tell me about the how big or how important is building relationships as it relates to not just in business, or if you want to do a charitable drive. I know, for example, even if you're working within a company and you want to get things done with other departments, you must have a good relationships with those people. So talk to me about the importance of building relationships to really get things done and to succeed in whatever you're doing.
I'm a people's person. I believe that no man is an island. You need people around you. And I wouldn't be sitting here, I wouldn't be standing here had it not been for people helping me. And I'm kind, I'm respectful, to
Can I have the
everybody.
rest of
I'm
this?
helpful. And
Can I have the rest of this?
eventually, like I say, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You know what I mean? So people, if you show up for them, they're going to show up for you when you need them. I have a network of people who I've helped out throughout the years. Whenever they need anything, they call me, Char, I need this, I need that. I'm there for them. So when I need something, it's a no-brainer. They're going to show up for me, right? Um, the network I have, it's kind of like a two-way street. It's not where they help me or I help them, and it's not, you know, we help each other, and that's what a team and a community is all about. It's all about people working together for one common team, right? And so for me, I'm just myself. I don't try to be, no fake version of myself. And it's either you like me or you don't like me. But most of the time, when I walk into a room or walk into a place, somebody walk into my business, I'm showing up as me. I'm not showing up as no fake version of myself. And I think people like people who are authentic, people who are genuine, and people who are real. And once people can see, that in you, I think it's easy for them to work with you and to help you whenever you need help.
That's amazing. And another thing that you mentioned at the beginning, when we're talking about business, we spoke about the customer experience. You spoke about finding customers as like the first thing, or one of the challenging things in the beginning of starting your business. And you spoke about pretty much the customer experience and ensuring that they have a positive experience. And so, how do you think that providing great, one, customer service, and two, ensuring that your customers have had a great experience has been a key factor of your success as well? Because I mean, you said in the beginning, one of the first things they have to do is find customers, and that could be a bit challenging. But you did it. You went through it, and you've had able to build sustainable businesses over time. So talk to me about the importance of ensuring that the customers have a positive experience and providing really good customer service.
I always say, Kimron, customer service is the driving force behind any business. Your customers they make you, you know, everything you every time you're profitable or you're not profitable is because of your customers. Your business can only be successful based on the kind of service that you provide to your customers. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business, right? So my
Right.
thing, and whether I work for somebody or I have my business, customer service was always top of the line. Make sure my customers are always happy. You have to make sure as a business owner or even as an employee serving customers that you treat them with respect. You know what I mean? And yeah, like you have to keep in mind they pay your bills. Without them, you can't eat. You don't have a business, right?
Right.
So you want to make sure that their every needs met. There are times like, there's a saying that the customers are always right. Uh, Not all the time, but
Yeah,
we'll
I
give
don't
it
I
to
don't
them
buy
that
that.
they're right sometimes. But you want to, at the end of the day, you just treat people the way you want to be treated. If I was to walk into a business, that's my mindset. How would I want to be treated? How would I want to be approached? And so whenever anybody walks into my business, I make sure I'm a small business owner. I treat them with respect. I make sure it's a warm environment for them. It's an inviting environment that when they come, they'll definitely come back. So, for instance, last year we had this person just walking off of the street, and she came a second time, and then she came a third time, and about 3 weeks ago she came with her boss. She brought her boss in to buy boxes from us. She's like, it's so nice here. I love coming here. The girls are so nice. It's such a good experience coming at Cold Paper. That's what you want. You want when your customer comes in one time that you leave an impression that they always come back. Or if they don't come back, they'll send somebody to come back to you. And so customer service it'll make you or break you. Because if you go someplace and the people are rude and the service is not good, you know what I mean? Then more than likely you wouldn't want to go back, you know? More than likely, you probably go on Google and you leave a Google review giving them a 1 star, saying how terrible the business was or how terrible the service was. It don't matter how good products you're selling. If your customer service is trash, people are not going to come. Even if sometimes your product is not like 100%, but you have good customer service, you're friendly, you're warm, you know what? They're going to come back. They'll be like, the
Right.
product is not so, or even the pricing. Sometimes, the pricing might be a little bit more than another place, but because of the experience they get, they're like, nah, I like these girls. I like coming here, it's inviting. And that's what you want, that when people walk into your business or even if when you're selling online, you know what I mean? Simple thing as selling online, you make a little thank you note. You put a little note. Thank you so much for supporting my business. I appreciate the support. Whatever, you can't thank them in person, but you can make a little note. If you want to handwrite it or you want to print a card, whatever you want to do, there are ways to show good customer service.
I mean, this you just give us a masterclass in like 2 minutes on customer service. so that was pretty great. I teach a course called Digital Transformation and the Customer Experience over at Durham College, and in the first few weeks of the class, the one of the key things that we kept talking about is optimizing the experience for the customer across all the touch points along the customer journey. So wherever a customer interacts with your business, like you said, whether they walk into the store, whether they interact with you online, you have to ensure that all the touch points are optimized to ensure that customer has a positive experience. So I'm really happy to hear you saying that. So that's really great. Now, so Charlene, before we wrap up, can you share with me, for anybody who's thinking about getting into entrepreneurship or starting their own business, what advice would you give to somebody saying, okay, I want to start my own business in 2024? What would you say that they need to keep in mind?
Start small, think big. You're going to start very small, but you're going to have a big goal. And no, start small, dream big, and count on yourself, count on your abilities. Don't, when you're starting a business, it's easy if you're going to do this, you're going to talk to your family or friends, and everybody's going to be like, you sure you can do this? There's going to be a lot of naysayers and people are going to try to talk you out of it. But believe in yourself, bet on you. And once you're able to do that, and just bet your abilities, if you're thinking about having a business, you're already smart enough to do so. Just implement. Stop second guessing. Stop thinking, oh, what if you fail? But what if you do it and you're successful? What if you do it and you become a millionaire? So we'll trash all the what if I fail, and we're going to replace it with what if I become successful? What if I become a millionaire? What if I do this for the rest of my life? What if I get to quit my job and do this at home? So believe in yourself, be consistent, work hard. You have to listen, let me tell you, hard work, it'll never kill you, but it'll always pay off. So keep working hard. And I'm telling you, in the beginning, when I got cold paper, we were nobody. Like, Antoine Fulfillment was nobody. And now you see, we're doing fulfillment for the Jays, Toronto Blue Jays, the Jays care. They're one of our biggest clients. We're moving thousands and thousands and thousands of shipments every year for them, because I just stayed steadfast and just kept pushing. You can do it. Don't give up. You can do it.
Absolutely, that is so amazing. I love the mindset shift. Not move away from what if I fail to what if I succeed. That's a great mindset.
What if I got
shift.
rich? What if I become successful? Let's just change the negative, and you know what? Don't let people's comments and their fears come into your mind. You have to live life fearless. And if you're going to be a business owner, you're going to want to, you have to be fearless. You can't be afraid.
That's amazing, and that's a great way to wrap this episode up of the Dropping Bars podcast. Charlene, thank you so much again for coming on, and thank you for dropping those major bombs and for
You're
dropping those
welcome.
major bars. So
You're
hey,
welcome.
thank you so much. So
It's a
bars,
pleasure. It was really my pleasure. Nice chatting with you as always.
as always, man, it's always a great pleasure whether I'm chatting with you, whether it's on the podcast or offline.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure. So, Charlene,
Thank
thank
you.
you again for being on the podcast. Bars Nation, thank you for tuning into another episode of the Dropping Bars podcast. I am your host, Kimron Corion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast wherever you're consuming it, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're consuming the podcast. Like, comment, share, leave a review. And you know, when you support the podcast and you leave a review, I can bring on other great guests like Charlene and others to come and just chop it up with you and drop some bars. So hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Bars Nation, I am Kimron Corion, and I am out. See you next week.